There is a lot to do in Alaska. Every season there is some new activity to be doing that is going to keep you entertained and is going to challenge you in some kind of way. Quite frankly, if you are bored in this state, then you are really doing something wrong, and that's 100% on you if I'm being very blunt. So I'm going to go ahead and give you the top 5 things that people can do in this state that most people probably wouldn't think about, that are very entertaining and things that you can do. Keep in mind, these are going to be very outdoorsy oriented, just because that is going to be the crowd that's going to get attracted to the last frontier. Go figure. So before we get started, make sure that you like this video, make sure that you subscribe to my channel so you can receive more information like this in the future about Alaska. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the top 5 things that people do in this state. Number 1, I'm going to just get this one out of the way and clump in hiking, fishing, and hunting all together into one category, because that is obviously something a lot of people are going to enjoy. Hiking, it's great up here. I can go about 5-10 minutes in any direction and find some great hiking trails. There are mountains, there are glaciers, there's forests, you've got some wetlands out here. There's really any number of great hiking trails that you can go on, whether you're looking for kind of an extreme experience where essentially you're going to be doing some rock climbing and some grappling, to maybe something a little bit more moderate, maybe something that's just a little bit more of a step up from a walk in the park. So there's going to be something for everybody, so it's great. Professional pro note on this pro tip on the side, if you are hiking during the winter time, a lot easier to get down the mountains, because you can just sit down and just sled your little self all the way down. It makes the hike a lot faster. Secondly, fishing. Yeah, it's everywhere. It's definitely into the culture. It's almost the official pastime for the state up here. If you're into combat fishing on the rivers for salmon, if you want to go long line fishing on some halibut charters out on the ocean, that's a ton of fun. If you are looking for just going for some northern pike or some trout, there's always some canoes and some lakes that you can go into pretty much anywhere. So the fishing's awesome. You can also do dip netting as well and fill up your freezer pretty quickly of some pretty good salmon. The only thing about that is you do have to live here before you can go and do that. That's not really not much of a tourist attraction. That's more of a harvesting privilege you get after living here. Thirdly, hunting. Yes, world class. A lot of stuff you can go for. Shoot a moose and your chest freezer pretty much full for a year, so that's pretty great. Caribou, you can go for bear. They don't taste very good, but I guess you can always do it. And there's really any number of things you can go hunting for as well up here. So that's great. I'm going to go ahead and lump hiking, fishing, and hunting all into one category, and that's going to be our first one. Now, let's go ahead and talk about some more things that are a little bit more off the beaten path. Number 1 is going to be surfing. Yes, you heard me right. Believe it or not, but we do have a surfing community up here in Alaska, even though it is cold. I actually wrote an article about this for a magazine, and what they do is they have a boar tide that's going to be coming in from the up the Turnagain Arm, and they get surfers that'll go out there, and they've obviously got their wetsuits on, gloves, everything that they need to, and it's a lot of fun because they just ride the boar tides out there, and sometimes it's really big, sometimes it's not. It definitely is a lot of fun. From everything I've been told, haven't personally gone. One thing that I would say, definitely make sure that you talk to some people before doing that, before you just jump out there and try to do it yourself. There are some mud flats you can get caught in, and a bunch of other issues that you need to be aware of as well. So that's one thing, surfing. Number 2 that's a little bit more off the beaten path. They do have paragliding. So that definitely makes sense because we've got so many mountains all over the place here. So that's great. We have a pretty strong community as far as that goes. And what paragliding is, I wrote another article about this for a magazine, but essentially that's the one where you've got the chute that's going to be opening above you. They call it a wing, and you don't jump off a cliff. That'd be a completely different designation. So what they do is essentially they just start running after having this wing open behind them, and it's going to fill up with air, and they just slowly lift up off the ground, and off they go. So that's a lot of fun. I was talking with somebody who's done that before for years, and they're talking about riding thermals all the way up, and up there soaring around with the bald eagles. So that's a ton of fun. I personally want to go do that. Haven't been able to yet. I've done skydiving, just not paragliding. So that's another great thing to do if you're just trying to get off the beaten path and do something that's a little outside the ordinary for Alaska experiences up here. Yeah, so definitely go check out that article as well. There's some really cool stories in that one. So, which so far of these activities do you think you would be most likely to do? Comment your response down below, and I'd be happy to talk a little bit, see if I can get you in contact with someone who could, help you figure that stuff out. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the rest of our activities that are a little off the beaten path. Activity number 3, that's a little off the beaten path and most people don't really think about. That's really fun to do up here in Alaska. Whitewater river canoeing. Okay, this is a lot of fun. We have a number of rivers around here that are pretty fast moving. It's obviously going to be a little chilly. A lot of our rivers are kind of runoffs from glaciers, but they are a lot of fun. And again, make sure you contact the right people before you just jump into it and decide you're just going to figure it out as you go along. Make sure you contact somebody and talk to them. But yeah, ton of fun. Now, number 4, fat tire biking. Okay, regardless the time of year, you can do this. So this is really nice in Alaska because you do get a lot of areas that are pretty tough to get over, even for bikes, and climate as well. We do have winter fat tire biking as well, which is great because you get a lot of distance you can travel fairly quickly if you're on a bike. We actually do have the Iditarod Trail Invitational. Side note, okay, just a little bonus here. The Iditarod Trail Invitational is the same distance, except it's going to be run on foot, cross-country skis, or with the fat tire bikes. So yeah, it's a little bit of a rodeo for sure. So if you're into endurance events, and that might just be your cup of tea, so go have fun with that. I'll probably do a separate video about that another time. Activity number 5, that's a little off the beaten path compared to hiking, fishing, and hunting. Definitely go do some ocean kayaking. This again is a lot of fun, and it's going to give you some great exercise. I mean, depending on where you go, you might just run into some pods of killer whales, depending on where you go. There are a number of communities in Alaska where killer whales are definitely not an anomaly, not going to be a huge surprise. Like in our capital in Juneau, you can just be sitting out there on your back porch and just kind of watch the little inlet they have that's going to be between the town, and you can actually see killer whales just swimming right up it. This has been the top 5 things that you can do that's off of the beaten path a little bit as far as activities that you can do in Alaska that most people think about. They are awesome. Alaska, again, is going to be just teeming with stuff that you can go and do, especially during the summertime. and this is definitely not the state you're going to be bored in. So if this has been useful, make sure you give this video a like and make sure that you subscribe to this channel to receive more information like this in the future.